Senator Raphael Warnock of the great state of Georgia is one of the best orators the United States Senate has seen in a very, very long time. Watch him on this today. Watch.
Democrats have tried again and again to engage our Republican friends in a discussion on this issue, one that lies at the foundation of our democracy, and time again, because of a lack of good faith engagement, the rules of the Senate have prevented us from moving that conversation forward. We could not imagine changing the rules, that is, until last week. Because last week, we did exactly that. Be very clear, last week we changed the rules of the Senate to address another important issue, the economy. This is a step, a change in the Senate rules we haven't been willing to take to save our broken democracy, but one that a bipartisan majority of this chamber thought was necessary in order to keep our economy strong. We changed the rules to protect the full faith and credit of the United States government. We've decided we must do it for the economy, but not for the democracy. So, Madam President, I will be honest. This has been a difficult week for me as I've pondered how am I going to vote on this debt ceiling question we're about to take. I feel like I'm being asked to take a road that is a point of moral dissonance for me. Because while I deeply believe that both our democracy and our economy are important, I believe that it is misplaced to change the Senate rules only for the benefit of the economy when the warning lights on our democracy are flashing at the same time. Madam President, in light of the conniving methods of voter suppression we have seen enacted into law since the January 6th attack on the Capitol, I come to the floor today to share with the people of Georgia and the American people the message that I shared with my colleagues over the weekend and earlier today during our caucus meeting. I said to my Democratic colleagues over the last several days, number one, unfortunately, the vast majority of our Republican friends have made it clear that they have no intention of trying to work with us to address voter suppression or to protect voting rights. While we cannot let our Republican friends off the hook for not being equitable governing partners, if we are serious about protecting the right to vote that's under assault right now, here's the truth: it will fall to Democrats to do it. And if Democrats alone must raise the debt ceiling, then Democrats alone must raise and repair the ceiling of our democracy. How do we in good conscience justify doing one and not the other? Some of my Democratic colleagues are saying, but what about bipartisanship? Isn't that important? I say, of course it is. But here's the thing we must remember. Slavery was bipartisan. Jim Crow segregation was bipartisan. The refusal of women's suffrage was bipartisan. The denial of the basic dignity of members of the LGBTQ community has long been bipartisan. The 3/5 compromise was the creation of a putative national unity at the expense of black people's basic humanity. So when colleagues in this chamber talk to me about bipartisanship, which I believe in, I just have to ask, at whose expense?
Hello. Welcome to the Gilchrist Experience. We've got Graham coming in on the Skype, so that's why they had to curtail the video. Welcome, gentlemen. This is a subject matter that we're all interested in. As the preacher said, we got to do it as Democrats, because the Republicans got their own agenda. You see how serious they are with January 6th coming up in another couple of weeks. And you see how eager they are to fight. That's because of Trump. You know, he's scheming and conniving just like he had for the last 5-6 years. All his life here in New York. He was a mysticon, and he's a gangster. And he's exactly acting like one, like a mob boss. He put all those judges into place. Actually, it was a Birch Society or whatever right-wing organization gathers all these judges up, and they pay to become judges for life. I can imagine what that costs. A lifetime appointment. So, gentlemen, what did you think about the voting rights dilemma that we're in? With all these restrictions and voting rights coming about, 300 and some odd laws, I think 33 of them have passed so far, but they got all of next year to work on it. And the election is so essential. If these Republicans can get in place, we go back to slavery. You can guarantee on that, because they're made up of nothing but white supremacists today.
Which is their agenda.
Which is their agenda. And by right, that's their cause. Because they see them losing face and losing popularity. And so they only can win by cheating. All right, what say you, gentlemen?
So I'd make a quick weigh-in on that. And as far back as, we can remember historically, there's always been efforts made in various forms, and it took on various shapes to dilute people of color, to keep them out of opportunities, to keep them out from opportunities to take care of themselves, and keep them out of opportunities to excel to higher living standards, etc. So, as has been since we were even given the right to vote, okay, there's always been a concerted effort to take away, dilute, or just get rid of, that ability for people of color to participate in the democratic process. And they did this through various ways, Jim Crow laws, et cetera, to, keep us in a system or a place of servitude. And that played out in a lot of different arenas, and it played out in a lot of different ways, right? Because of the laws that they put on the books, especially as it related to voting rights.
So now the laws have changed for the incarcerated.
Yeah, well,
getting out of prison.
Yeah,
so
of course. Yeah, and that's a good thing. But like I say, even with that in itself, there's still an effort to make sure that that's kind of sort of like diluted down with all of the conscriptions that go along with you having the right to vote. So here now in New York State, everybody coming out of prisons have the right to vote.
Okay.
Okay.
It is.
That's the law now. We
When
have
did that
people
pass?
coming. Yeah.
That's an old passage. Right?
No, we didn't.
How long has it been?
Now 2 years.
2 years.
2
is
years.
That all?
So,
Is that all?
So, but and I'm saying 2 years, and here's the 2-year connection. So the first year, people that were on parole, people that were being released on parole, had the right to vote on a condition. It was called a conditional pardon. You had the right to vote partially if you were issued that conditional pardon. So the conditions for you to be able to vote was that you had to be issued a conditional pardon in order for you to have the right to vote. That was step number one. If you didn't get that conditional pardon, although you know it was the law was passed that if you were coming out on parole, you had the right to vote, but you had to have a conditional pardon. And the caveat with that is that you had to be in the community for at least 30 days with unrevoked supervision, which means if you got out and you got by chance you caught a violation of parole, there goes your right to vote, because that means you got a violation of your parole. That means you became ineligible to be given the conditional pardon that went along with you having the right to vote. That was step number one. So there were conditions on you being able to vote. The year number two, which is this year. So this year, that changed. The prescription that was attached to you had to have the conditional pardon in order for you to vote got rid of that. That made anybody eligible to vote that was being released on parole. Now you have the right to vote automatically without you having to wait the 30 days, without you having to have an issuance of a conditional pardon. The only thing that became requisite is that you register to vote. So I see that as a continuation of oppression, because when they give you something, it's always something attached to it. There's always a catch. There's always a gimmick to you having the right to vote. And I'm speaking specifically of people that are incarcerated and or people that's formerly incarcerated. That's a continuation of disenfranchisement. Automatically, when you get convicted, you lose your right to vote.
Yeah.
You become a slave again. Let me say it like that. And I'm quite sure all of us here are familiar with the 13th Amendment and what it says about having been duly convicted, okay? You become a slave again. So is slavery really over? And they left that 13th Amendment clause in specifically for the purpose to keep us disenfranchised and to dilute our opportunities.
Is the Republicans with their gerrymandering, and you can see with the Texans and the Georgia, his state, Warnock State, with their passing all these laws. So we need a federal law giving us the right to vote, as it's been for the last 50 years.
And nobody's right to vote should ever be taken away, convicted or not. I mean, you maintain your right to vote, right? If you're on parole, if you're on probation.
Well, if it's up to the Republicans, they'll take the right.
There you go. Slave
so that's
masters.
what our, we have
Let's make
Graham
America
on
great
Skype
again.
before we come to you, Mark. You want to say a few words, Graham? Are you there?
Yes, that 13th Amendment, very key. It's important that Black people read the book. About 7 years ago, Barack Obama chided the Black Caucus because they weren't staying on top of voting rights. And Maxine Waters' response to his statement was, "You can't talk to us like that."
Yeah, I remember that.
Look where we are now, Maxine. If you don't protect what you value, you have no right to keep it, because you're going to wind up losing it. It's just that if you don't value your health, you will be in bad health. Right now, Winston and I, we've talked about this over the last couple of days, but I'm very much annoyed with the Attorney General in seeing these laws being passed across 37 states, and it took him months to make a statement.
But he was working on Texas and Georgia. And he
He
just
has
recently
people
sued them.
across the country. There are U.S. attorneys
No,
working in every state.
that's right.
It's not he who's doing the job. He's not doing it. They are assigned in every state. I have friends who were U.S. attorneys, and their job is to do their job. But we have states that passed laws which were contrary to federal law, just as the Roe versus Roe versus Wade.
Right.
All right? Federal law says this, and they're going to pass a law contrary. Let's go back historically to George Wallace,
Oh, wow.
who
People don't
said
remember that.
slavery today, yesterday, and forever. Martin Luther King talked about legislation dripping with nullification, interposition and nullification. And this is what we're seeing
Today.
50 plus years after Martin said it. And our people are dumb and dead at the switch. And this is not acceptable. And this president needs to forget about reaching across the aisle and playing with these Republicans. Our legislators need to step up. They have let these people get away with stuff, and once the ball rolls down the hill, it takes a lot of energy to slow it down. And right now, in Georgia, you got black people moving to Florida and Georgia. I have friends, I told them, I hope you can vote next year and the year after when you get down there. The matter of gerrymandering, they took New Orleans, which is a black city. Years ago they did this and cut the districts up and annexed every area of New Orleans to a white community outside of New Orleans so that the people living in New Orleans did not control their own destiny in the city. And this is what is happening. And the president and the attorney general, they need to be on this like a maggot on a piece of meat.
You watch. What about Tish James, what she's going to do to Trump?
Well, that's
see
not a
that
voting
coming.
issue. That's a separate
That's
issue.
an attorney general.
Tish is handling her stuff.
Yeah.
She's handling it, and
I'll
I'm
say-
very proud of her.
Yeah.
I've known her for many, many years.
That's
I'm
going
proud
to
of what
happen
she's doing.
everywhere. Did you see the Warnock piece that we just played?
No, I didn't get to see it. I had trouble.
Let's see. I wanted you to see that.
I'm gonna go online and look it up. I'm sure it's already.
It's dynamite. You're saying they're going to do something in Georgia too. Between who's the governor running for governor?
Kemp and
Stacey Abrams.
Stacey.
Right.
Stacey's done wonders with all the Georgia states. I mean, it's going to hang Trump when he asks them to change the votes, and they've got a federal case against them there. And Tish James is going to get them in New York with fraudulent financial.
Right, but the thing is, you've got states now passing laws stating that they can.
Well, the federal
move
law.
These electors move the people who are working in the polls to count the votes. If they don't like the outcome,
We
they're
can't let
putting
that
them to the
happen.
side and come up with a different result. This is not some game.
That's
Yeah,
right.
It's serious.
You know,
That's right.
everybody realize how serious these people are.
And that's just go to show. And thank you, Graham. It's good to see you again, buddy.
Good to see you, brother.
Thank you for that. And
Yeah.
that just goes to speak to, like Graham's pointed out, the seriousness and the state where we are right now,
Yeah.
as far as it relates to voting rights. And
Right.
the Republicans are doing everything in their power across the state, across the spectrum, to change the laws, to change the rules of the game, to dilute our power. And like Graham said, our electeds need to be, double time on this here.
Well, it's going to take us to
That
get on
needs
their
to be
case.
done.
It's
When
gonna
did the
take
black
pro-
man get the right to vote?
65?
Wrong.
After.
The 15th Amendment in 1867, something like that. Why are we going back over stuff that's 150 years old?
Because
Women got the right to vote in 1919.
Yeah.
Why are we going back over stuff that's over 100 years old? This is the point. You don't need to keep coming up with legislation when the law it's been on the books for over 100 years.
Well,
That
Trump-
goes with
Trump.
making America great again,
There you go.
according to white supremacy.
That's it. That's
You don't
exactly.
need,
trying to do.
you don't need
That's what
an
happened.
Eric Garner bill when it was against the law to choke somebody 20 years ago. Because our people don't read, they don't study anything. And they give you this fluff of, oh, we're gonna pass this law, we're gonna pass that law. BS. Those laws have been on the books. And
And
that's
who changed
when a
them?
Democrat tells you they're pushing a bill, that's nonsense. They don't need to push the bill. All they gotta do is open the book and read the law that's already on the books, whether it's on this, in the US code. It's in there.
Well,
with
it's
regard to
not
vote.
that easy.
What do you mean it's not that easy?
It's not that easy because you have the white supremacy at its best. And
White
Donald
supremacy
Trump.
shouldn't be that easy.
Well, Trump helped it come out and blossom. He made it all right to be a racist.
Well, then understand where
and-
you is. all right?
And you have to
Understand where
realize
you
that
is.
74 million people voted for him. That shows you the
74
stat.
would not vote for him again.
Well, yeah, we
They're
don't know
waking up.
that. The way they lie and cheat and steal, and then everybody says, well, the Democrats do the same thing. And that's where we get in a quagmire. The same thing, we got Trump because we hated Hillary too much. So we got to be
Listen,
careful
forget
with
about
how we
Hillary.
approach this.
It's-
Don't forget,
about
you
Hillary.
can't forget
This-
about Hillary, you can't forget about Trump. That's the wrong thing to say.
the
Forget
people-
about
the
Trump.
people of the country have been what they've always been.
Yeah, but
they've always
we're the
been.
only ones that are going to change it. And we're not going to change it by giving them, bowing down and saying that's the way it is. We'll give up on it. We got to fight our strongest battle now. It has to be with unity and what we got that can lead us to the promised land. And the only thing we
There's no
got is,
promised land here, buddy.
yes, there is.
This is not
There's
the promised
always-
land.
We can turn it into that. That's
This
our
is the
job.
United States of America.
That's our job, to make it true to true to the Constitution. We're going to take the
Hey.
rules and make them real.
Milk and honey. Where you gonna
That's
get
right.
the cows from?
We're going to make
Huh?
we're going to bring the cows home.
They own all the cows.
But we're going to change that.
Where you gonna
Don't-
get the honey
don't
from?
Think,
They
no,
got all the-
thinking
they
like
got
that,
all the
we never do
trees.
it. We're thinking like that, we never
I think
do it.
Victor's playing the devil's advocate right now.
Yeah,
Well, we know that.
yeah.
He always does.
Who's the largest landowner in this country?
Not none of us, that's for sure.
Good
Who?
question. Who is it?
Your billionaire guy.
Bezos?
No,
Musk?
no, the guy from the computer companies.
Gates?
Gates.
Gates. Yeah. Yeah. Largest landowner in the United States. And watch him because he's gonna take over food production.
Well,
Give him time.
we got to make sure it doesn't happen.
He's running the vaccination
So what do we do to
programs.
stop
He funds
this?
The World
Come
Health
up with answers.
Organization. He's the primary funder of the World Health
You've
Organization.
presented the problem, now come up with an answer how to change that.
Hey,
Vote. That's what we're
At
talking
least
about.
one of the
Vote.
ways. At least one of the ways.
And a strong hand in pushing what can change all this. And it's Build Back Better.
well, they got a
dream
lot of
of,
building to do across the Midwest right now and
Yeah.
the Appalachia with the hurricane tornado.
It's a Marshall Plan for America. And
Yeah.
people don't see that. That's what I don't understand. What better to build back better is to put money out there. And that's what these trillions going for. Child care and all the socialistic things that the Trumps, the Republicans are fighting. They don't want to see us get any money, get any advantages. They're trying to slap us back. Sure,
will
we
not.
recognize what they're doing, but we have to fight that.
They will not turn away federal aid now because their homes have been destroyed. Their communities
right.
have been destroyed.
And
They
that's-
will take all the socialism they can get.
That's right.
Their grandparents, great-grandparents lived on socialism. They got
Sure.
land grants for land they never even owned.
That's right.
So
And poor
they are
people are
socialists
suffering.
at
Poor
heart. That's
people
why you got to
suffer the
study the
most.
history and present it to them
Well,
every
that's why
time
I'm
they
saying
open
there's
their
hope.
mouth about America.
Yeah.
Well, we have to present it here.
Stolen
We have
America.
to present it here with the devil's advocate and us trying to find a positive answer to all these problems. Now, what have you initiated or we mentioned Build Back Better and how see people don't understand the Build Back Better. So what I'm going to do, let me run a little roll in on Build Back Better. It's item 2. Can we do that? Hold on, Graham. We have to cut
Right.
you off for running this Build Back
No
Better.
problem.
And we'll come back to you after we run this. It's only 4 minutes, I think. Something like that.
Okay.
Run item 2, would you please? That's
The
one.
Build Back Better bill, which
Oh.
the House has passed, it's now pending in the Senate. The committees are doing their work on it. We don't know exactly when the Senate will be ready to move on it. The point you're making in that video is that you're reminding us about where this legislation began as two parts of the same Biden infrastructure approach.
No, absolutely. This is President Biden's agenda to make sure that we have a strong, stable, globally competitive economy. And to do that, we have to make investments. And those investments are in all of the things that help us create jobs, make workers able to go to work, and make sure that we're able to compete for the next generation of jobs. So that means everything from investing in roads and bridges and cybersecurity to investing in green energy jobs to the people who do that work, investing in things like early childhood education, bringing down the price of prescription drugs. And so I think that what I tried to do was really use the concept of building blocks,
Bisexual man
blocks
with
with the letters on them, to help people see that all of these things put together
give us a more
are what's going to
expanded
build
look at
that
the work
strong,
that you
stable,
guys
globally
do.
competitive
Sure.
economy, not just
Well,
next
we
year,
allocated
not
a
just for
lower
President
side
Biden's
time,
term,
and we
but for
basically
decades to come.
we are like a welcome
So,
center for immigrants.
Joe Manchin
We consider
said some
the-
things at a Wall Street Journal
course, we know
conference
that,
about this.
when
He
you
said
are
he's
a
worried
state
about
contractor,
inflation.
before you
He
get
didn't
paid, you have to
say
finish
that
the
he's
job.
not going to
So
vote for
how
the
can you
bill,
do that
but
if you wait
he
to get
said
paid?
this
So
about,
this
let's listen to what he said
allows,
about
these contractors
waiting to see
access to
exactly
working
what's in it.
capital,
Let's listen
and
to
they
what
will
he said.
utilize that working capital to
We haven't
complete,
seen the final
portions of the
final text
job,
on
and
it.
then
So
when
for
they
me to
get
speak on it,
paid
to
back,
say,
when the invoice
yes, I could be
advances,
for this, or no,
they
I'm
will
not going
use
to
a
be for
portion
that,
of
or
that
you need
money
to
to
change this or
repay
that
back
until I see
the liquidity
the
agreement.
legislation.
Graham, I think you're running your computer and it's coming in on our sound.
Right. Right.
All right, cut off for a minute and we'll come back to you. All right, run the rest of this. I just want people to get a good idea of what Build Back Better is, if you can understand it all.
Hard to say that.
That seems to be the way he's been approaching this all along. So when this, do you have any notion in the House about when the Senate will be moving on this?
Well, I can only say I hope soon, because literally I get up every day and I ask myself that same thing. When will the Senate deliver for the American people? I will say that I think that the work that we did in the House, putting together this bill, educating the American public about it, is really building toward the pressure and the leverage and the momentum that the Senate needs to act on this bill. So, we've heard a lot from Senator Manchin that he doesn't know, that he's waiting for the parliamentarian, that he's waiting for the bird bath, that he's waiting for the text, that the day is going to come when this bill is going to come to the floor. And I very, very much hope that we see not only Senator Manchin and others vote for this, but we see Republicans step up and vote for this. Because, like I said, every American benefits from having that strong, stable, globally competitive economy. And as you know, Lawrence, I represent a district about equal numbers of Democrats and Republicans. Everybody is going to benefit from this stronger foundation for our economy going forward.
We just had candidate Kuntz on, who's running for Senate in Missouri, talking about how when we passed bills for what ended up being hundreds of billions of dollars of spending, immediate spending in Afghanistan, infrastructure spending, by the way, in Afghanistan and Iraq. It was never questioned. No one was asking CBO to study anything about it. No one was worried about what it might mean for inflation anywhere in the world, what it might mean for defense spending, what that might do on inflation in this country. None of that. It just flew through with no attention to detail whatsoever, as defense spending bills generally still do.
No, look, I think we have to start holding ourselves to account for every dollar that we spend. And there's no exception to the need for oversight, for accountability, for careful study, for careful and thoughtful use of our taxpayer dollars, just because those dollars are going to defense or going to national security. All of those dollars are tax dollars that families are paying. And what they're asking the government to do with that money is to protect our country, protect our society, and protect our economy. And so I absolutely think that we ought to be holding ourselves to the same standard, whether that dollar is going out the door for national security or whether that dollar is going out the door, for example, for public health. And that's really what I've tried to do with putting a lot of emphasis on oversight. I think our government can and must help solve problems, can and must help keep Americans safe from everything from coronavirus to national security risks. But with that belief that government can help us comes a responsibility to make sure that at the end of the day, those dollars are doing exactly that.
This woman, Katie Porter, is an excellent representative of an honest politician. You know, somebody that really takes their oath and serious about helping the people. And with her in charge and people like her in charge, I think we can fear this onslaught, which Graham, devil's advocate, which we need to hear that, because we do have people like her in there trying to do the right thing. And it's for us to promote people of like minds. And we got a president that's slow and fair and trying to be fair to the people who don't know fairness. Think of nothing but white supremacy and greed, and for them, build back better. They want it like it was in the old days. What say you, Mark? Welcome back.
And thank you for having me again. Glad to join you both. Me and Victor kind of go back a little ways, and we work together now. So again, thank you for having me.
You see any light at the end of the tunnel for the incarcerated or people getting out?
Not in particular as it relates.
Well, how do you see it after the time that you spent in?
You mean the Build Back Better bill? I went over what the White House issued concerning like their view on how it would help black folks specifically, and what I read in that bulletin was mostly about affordable housing, education, and child care. I didn't see anything concerning like job training.
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay, I missed it. I'm gonna go back and take another look. I didn't see anything detailing plans for like programs in the community or anything like that. It seemed kind of broad, perhaps overly so, seemed like a broad perspective of like, well, this is basically what we got for you right now. The only other thing that I could think of that, I forget her name, the rep that was just speaking, the congressional representative, she mentioned something about cyberspace and information technology. Since that's the way the world is going, I think it would behoove all of us in particular to get in on that. Like I had a little training, and I'm still doing a lot of self-teaching, in that area myself, because that's basically the way of the world right now. Like, I joke about how this didn't exist, before I went upstate, so it was new to me, coming home. but
Well,
I
you
quickly,
went upstate in the 90s.
No, 80.
80s.
Rested in '86. Stood on Rikers Island for a couple of years. About 2 years before I actually went upstate. But at that time, like, you only saw something like this in a cartoon, like Dick Tracy, or what was the other one, the Jetsons, perhaps. Right?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I'm not going to get caught flat-footed again. You know, in this day and age, you know, I'm learning a little about coding.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I'm learning about coding.
Yeah.
Starting to, you know, take a serious look at what's the stuff called cryptocurrency.
Crypto, yeah.
You know, which is related to, you know, coding. It's basically.
They're going to shut that down, I think.
Say again?
They're going to shut that down, I think.
Well,
Too many
I'm paying attention to it, you know,
The
because.
gangsters are using it.
Okay. Well, it seems to be important in some respects, at least as it pertains to making investments. You know, that's the
Or
angle.
transfer money.
Well, that too, yeah. But for me personally, I'm looking at stuff like that as at least a potential investment. You know, like 50 put some money in some stocks, it turned around and blew up, right? A few other folks did that too. Nas, you know, you never know how that could go. So I'm taking a serious look at that.
Okay. You have to be careful with that stuff.
See, and here's, and I didn't hear it. Maybe it's there. Like my colleague Mark, you know what I'm saying, from our arenas that we both come from our experiences that, and for the work that we both are doing in our respective arenas, we've always, you know, we're looking at how does this relate to that particular population. Like Mark, he is in the arena of people coming home, okay?
Right.
Getting people out. But not even that getting people out. What's going to happen for those people when they get out? You know,
They need something honest to do.
so from the perspective that Mark is working in, right, and the coalition and the campaign and the bill that the RAP campaign is pushing, you know what I'm saying, getting people out. But not only getting people out, but what's going to happen for those people when they get out? What's in it for them? How are they included in this wide arena, a platform with this Build Back America?
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't hear it. Now, I'm not saying it's not there, but I didn't hear it. So our populations, people that are justice impacted, people that are incarcerated, people that may be eventually coming home, what's in it for them? How are they going to be dealing with them? How are they going to help those people? Mark mentioned something, okay?
Job training.
How? Yeah, but like,
Right, I was looking
Making
for
sure
stuff
that,
like that.
I didn't hear
as
that,
black people get some of the construction jobs.
I didn't hear that. Mark said that
See,
they
this-
talked about it, they mentioned it in a wide play. They didn't specifically say, see, this is where I become suspicious, okay? That when you say, you know, it's going to be for the people.
Yeah.
What people? Are you including all of the people, or is it only for a certain population of people? But I don't hear them say people that have been in prison, people that are coming home. I need to know that when you say people and it's supposed to be a government or democracy that's all inclusive, but it's not all inclusive. And
But
it's
we have
not
to make
applicable
sure
to
that
all
it
the
does
people.
happen that way. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
We have to fess up and see what they're destined to do to us. And like Graham says, you know, this is all planned and plotted out. If we sit back and let it happen to us, then it's going to happen to us. So we're going to have to, you know, Graham calls us dummies because we, you know, are not paying attention. And so it's devil's advocate, but it's there, and we've done it in the past with Obama, and all the opportunities were there, and we went to sleep. And went to sleep. Now we can't go to sleep because we know what this terrorist Trump can do to us, or the Republicans. Look how he's controlling them. I mean, how can anybody get away with this January 6th nonsense. And they're beating up cops. And 40 of them wounded. And 3 of them committed suicide. So they're probably part of, you see all these names coming out of these congressmen that are involved. All right, so this is going to be the whole...
That's conspiracy. If it was you or me, we would be charged with a conspiracy.
We'd already be under the jail.
That's right.
We would be charged with a conspiracy.
They would have shot the black people.
That's what it is. It was a conspiracy.
Imagine if that was a group of black people.
What?
If blacks were anywhere in there, they would have gotten shot. But they had Trump hats on. And I understand the federal, the guardsmen were there to protect the Trump supporters. I heard that yesterday. How about you, Graham? Did you hear about that?
Yes, I did. And you're looking at a not greatly organized, but you're looking at a conspiracy.
Yeah.
But the thing is this, once the overt act has been committed, it's no longer a conspiracy. It becomes a historical event. They have enough information to indict not only Trump, some of those people sitting in Congress,
Right.
the people that were working in the White House.
Right. Meadows.
And the thing is, we need to see how long they're going to drag their feet on this issue.
It's going to come out.
It's,
In the
forget
next 3
about,
months.
everybody's talking about midterm elections and this and that. Handle your business now. Get these people in front of a judge. Let them contend with what they have to contend with. If you don't make an example of them, it's only going to get worse.
Well, you're going to see all this happen in the middle of the campaign. Come March, April, there are going to be people going to prison. And hopefully Tish James gets to Donald Trump about that time.
Put him
Give
in
us
handcuffs.
a spring break. Trump in prison.
Put him in handcuffs.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'm dying to see that.
And that's a good idea. In reality, I don't see it happening.
You don't see it happening?
I don't see that happening. I mean, it's.
They got to do something.
Yeah, well.
They can't get them. Look,
that's something.
Remember, that's a civil case. That's a civil case.
I'm talking about the federal case.
Yeah, but he needs to be gotten on the criminal matters.
Yeah, the
and put
Georgian.
away. That's what needs to be done.
So right
New
now,
York is
they're just going through the motions right now. That's the bottom line.
But I think they got to be madder than anybody the way Trump's handled himself. I mean, they've got to be upset more than we can be. You know, because he's made fools of people. Plain and simple. He did that when he ran the presidential election. He made fools of all the Republicans running. And they're all afraid of him because he's got a set of cojones on him. You know, he have his gang go up there and raid the Capitol.
Scale the walls.
And claim
they
that
scaled
didn't
the
happen.
walls like it was a castle.
Hey, we can't believe our lying eyes.
Did you see that?
And beating up cops. How can America stand still and let this happen?
Because it is what America is.
No, they can't survive. We can't survive like that.
If it wasn't what it was, it wouldn't have happened. They would have shut them down.
I think we can change it.
We
owe it to ourselves to change it. We spent 400 years in slavery, and I'm not ready to go back.
You were a Marine.
And so if Trump gets president, I'm going to join the Marine Corps.
You don't give up.
And start my own Marine Corps. And I'll be attacking the Capitol.
You don't allow
You let him become president. You see what I do.
You gonna raise a revolutionary army?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Graham, you heard your buddy over here. He's gonna raise a revolutionary
Trump becomes
army.
president, I'm going to shoot him myself personally.
Revolution was televised, and you saw what happened.
And we've seen it. That's right. We've seen it.
We saw what happened.
Yeah.
Right.
On the coin, with the crypto, if I can give you a little hint.
Yeah.
Go to livecoinwatch.com. Every cryptocurrency in the world is on that website.
What's the name of it again? Can you repeat it?
Live Coin Watch, one word, livecoinwatch.com.
Is it a scam?
Okay.
Listen to me. Every cryptocurrency in the world is listed on that site. You can see its present trading price.
Okay.
You're not buying Bitcoin because you don't have Bitcoin money. You don't have $48,892.71 to buy one Bitcoin.
Per share, huh?
Forget about buying shares. You can look through over 1,000 cryptocurrencies on that site, and you can find cryptocurrencies that are less than 1/10 of 1 penny. You can buy 1,000 of those and maybe make a couple of $100 in a couple of weeks and then divest of it. The problem with cryptocurrency is this: it's not backed by anything.
Yeah, right.
It's not backed by gold, silver, diamonds, oil, nothing. It's only what is in the computer. If the system is corrupted, it doesn't exist. All right? And you lose your money. Secondly, you have to get a KYC, that's know your client. You need to know who you're trading with, which is why I never got into the business, because you would be trading with a terrorist and wouldn't know it until the feds come knocking on your door and say, you gave $10,000 to whomever. Right? So you got to know who you're buying and selling to. That is very important. But you can do small trades, fractions of a penny. If it's 1/10 of a penny, you can, for $10, you can buy 1,000 coins.
Have you made any money at it?
And then you can trade it out later on.
Have you made any money at it?
I don't do it because it's not backed by anything. It's only what's in the minds of the people. That's all it is. It's not backed by anything. It's only in the computer.
So it's a way to launder money?
That's what people were doing for years. That's what they're still doing.
Trump did it with buildings.
Yeah.
And the Russians.
But you can pull up some very, very inexpensive stuff, parlay it over a couple of days, and cash it out. And you can make money.
You can play.
Definitely make money.
It's gambling.
All investment is a gamble.
Yeah.
Bitcoin King. That's
So,
Mark. He's gonna
you
be the
know,
next Bitcoin King.
Play it, but don't count on it.
Mark gonna be the next Bitcoin King.
I wish I had some Bitcoin money.
Well, you can start
Bitcoin
small,
is
a couple
is name.
$1,000s.
It's not the industry. Bitcoin is a name, like Coke is a name. It's a commercial name. Xerox is a name. Bitcoin is one type of cryptocurrency. There are over 1,000. When you go on that site, you will see Bitcoin was at $61,000 3 months ago. Now it's at 48,899.53. I got the screen right in front of me, and it just changed in this split second. So go on that site, you find a very inexpensive coin if you want to play with it, and you can see the fluctuations. When you go on there, you'll see the fluctuation of that coin over the last week. You don't have to have $100. You can use $10 or $15 and maybe make $100 from that.
And then pull out, right?
And pull out, right? Pull out, and then you find another one, but you don't spend your money.
Almost like playing numbers, right?
Right, that's right.
No,
You hit the
numbers are
trifecta.
more secure.
If you
like
want
playing
to play,
numbers.
decide
Numbers are more secure.
what amount of money you want to play with. You make your money, you take it out, that's your profit. Go back with that same amount of money, find another small one, and let it ride until it picks up to where you want it, then you take your money out. So never putting your money at risk. When you pull your money out, put the profit to the side. Put the profit to the side. Put the profits to the side, because it's not real currency. Now, governments, China and some governments are getting into the business to produce their own cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
But a government can back their stuff because they have gold. But none of this stuff is backed by, there are some that are gold backed. I will make that correction. they're backed by small fractions of gold, and they're a small fraction
You
of
all got an advocacy day coming up.
So
sure you don't say
what do
that
we do
here.
about these problems we're having here? The serious ones. About supporting Biden and making sure that we're looked out for. We put him in office, and he's due to back us. He said he had our backs. Is that
Call
right?
Espaillat, call Chuck Schumer,
Make
call
sure
the
we get
congressional
jobs.
and senatorial representatives, and stay
Job
in their
training.
butt
Job training
And vote.
and
and
vote.
vote.
And release people from prisons and jails so that they can vote.
Yeah, and make sure they can get job training. That's what you guys should be doing.
And this is the expert here.
All
Mark
right.
is the parole maestro
All
with
right,
the rap
so-
campaign.
All right. So we
He's-
have to concentrate on how this Build Back
They
Better
gonna get folks out.
can help, people coming out of jail.
And also,
Yeah.
education is important for the inmates.
That's
Yeah.
right.
The state
Yeah.
needs to invest. This will cut down on recidivism.
Yeah.
That's
We
right.
have to provide people with a legitimate alternative
Yeah.
to
And
recidivism.
it helps the community. Because who do they rob from? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's one of
And
the
who are
things
we
that they
killing?
do.
Each other.
The way Brother Graham just described that, I think that's the perfect description of that. Like, at the same time, keep in mind some folks are invested in profiting from incarceration. You know,
Yep.
it's a business now. Like,
That's right.
You know, some years ago when they had Governor, what was his name, Spitzer, and who came behind him, Patterson, right? During that time, they were talking about closing prisons, you know, because crime was down, people weren't coming to prison in large numbers. And I distinctly recall reading one of these upstate newspapers, you know, mind you, keep in mind, most of the prisons in New York State are in these rural areas
Right.
where basically that's their only economic engine, you know.
And it gives them the population
Right.
to
Right.
get money from the federal.
Well, one thing on that note, that quasi gerrymandering thing they used to do about counting incarcerated folks as
Yeah.
residents of these counties,
Yeah.
Where these prisons are,
stopped
they
doing
stopped that.
When did they stop that?
This was a couple of years ago. So now,
A couple
instead
of
of
years.
yeah, so
about
now
5 years
instead of
ago.
including me in the census for, let's say, Dannemora, New York,
Yeah.
if I'm a prisoner in Clinton Correctional Facility, right now they have to count me where I came from. I'm
Ah.
a resident of
When did they do that?
Bed-Stuy.
Yeah.
You know, this was a couple.
Okay,
Yeah, there was
yeah.
a big campaign to stop
right.
that because it was
Yeah,
basically
that's
like you
one
said.
of the biggest ones.
Like you said, Mr.
Whoa.
Gilchrist, they were basically sucking up resources at the expense of folks like Victor and I.
Yeah.
Now, when Spitzer and Patterson were talking about closing prisons, when I read in one of these local, one of these upstate newspapers, one of the prison union guards, one of their representatives of the prison guards union, he made a comment. He said, "What do you mean there's no more crime? Go down in the city and arrest some more people."
Go down to the city.
This was his.
I would believe it too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I wish I still had this newspaper to this day. Because he literally, he said it with gusto, like he seriously meant that.
Well, what about the people who deserve to be in prison?
Say again?
What about the people who deserve to be in prison?
You mean like Trump and the January 6 folks?
Yeah, exactly.
Has anyone gone to prison for that yet?
Not yet.
Yes, they've sentenced.
What,
There are
4
people
years?
that have pled guilty. Even that shaman with the bullhorn on his
Yeah,
head.
he got
he's
4
in.
years.
Oh, you mean the nondescripts? That's right.
A number of them have already been sentenced, but even today, Chauvin for Floyd
Yeah.
Yeah, he pled
pled
guilty.
guilty in federal court. But watch this, because I believe they're looking to have him serve
Life.
concurrent sentencing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
did he get life? Did they sentence him yet? They didn't sentence him.
He hasn't gotten sentenced yet.
He hasn't gotten sentenced, so they're cutting a deal with him.
Hmm.
State, because he should get life. And then behind that should be the federal. But you know, if you're not serving concurrent, then you're serving.
Consecutive.
Thank you.
Yeah. Means you complete one sentence and then the other one starts.
Right.
Yes.
So they're trying to give him a kind of sort of like a package deal.
Right. Right. He should have 2 life sentences with no chance of parole.
That's right.
Period.
Yeah, two
I come back and do
consecutive.
it again. Yeah.
No,
Two
he's-
consecutive life sentences.
Come back and die again. Right.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about. Don't kill somebody. Just come back again and then.
I wonder when it's going to come out that he knew George, and that they worked together for quite a while, and that was nothing but I'm killing somebody I don't like. See, that shows it makes sense then, the way he killed that his friend, a buddy he was jealous of. That's what that's about. Okay, that's why George was so angry with him. Because this guy, he knew this guy was more popular than him. They work in the club together. Did you know that?
no. Who is this? Who we
George
George Floyd.
Floyd and
And Derek Chauvin.
Derek Chauvin. They worked together in the club.
They were
both
co-workers?
bouncers.
They were
Yeah.
co-workers?
Yeah, they were co-workers.
Never asked.
That's why George killed him. That's why Derek killed him like that. That's why he sat there and made sure he was dead.
Yeah, the
After he
DP.
was dead, he didn't get up. They had to pull him up when the ambulance came.
And Winston,
It was something he hated. I think he had something to do with his wife. So
yeah. just
that was a
one,
revenge killing.
just one thing, and this is for Mark. The work that he's doing, the rap campaign and the parole thing that, they've been working on for
A little over 3 years.
3 years with the 2 parole bills.
Yes.
And I think that he should at least, have just, time there's something going on that y'all need to know about.
Oh,
that we
yes.
need people
All right.
for.
So we
Yeah.
do more shows. We probably won't do anything until after the first of the year.
But what is it? What is it? I want to know. I want to know.
Oh, okay. Oh,
You have to watch the next show.
okay.
No, but
We only got a
he can
minute.
tell him what's
Take a minute,
upcoming.
real quick.
We
Right,
got
quick.
30 seconds.
Right.
Okay, great. January 11th, everybody, we're having another Legislative Advocacy Day. Please join us at the Capitol. You can reach Brother Gilchrist for my contact information if you want more details.
We're going to storm the Capitol in a different way.
Peace and love and Happy New Year, Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas.
and
Feliz
Happy
Navidad.
Kwanzaa. The God in me loves the God in you. And stay tuned for more of the Gilchrist Experience.
Good seeing
Power
you,
to the
Graham.
people.
Good talking to you. Good seeing
Yes,
you.
sir,
We're going to
buddy.
get together with Brother Roach.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Ah,
I'm
Yes.
doing the email.
can we do it next week? No. I'm planning on a show. We got 45 seconds.
Skype him in.
Any closing words? Thanks for coming today, gentlemen.
Thank you again for having me.
Good.
Yeah, it's
Good.
always
And
fun.
thank you. And
We'll
as
save
always,
you a trip on the subway, Graham.
Fine, for free. Don't worry about it. But I haven't bought it. I haven't paid for Subway since 1974. I ride for free.
wow.
That's
That's
how
right.
Your piggy bank is fat right about now.
Okay, I could buy some Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Oh, man, see? See? Be careful now.
yeah. You can definitely have a fat
Peace and
piggy bank
love,
now.
and stay tuned for more.
Live Coin Watch.
Yeah,
Livecoinwatch.com.
God loves us all.
Okay.
Peace.
God bless.